Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I'm going to be discussing when you should stop being a dungeon master. So recently I have stopped being a dungeon master, and the reason why is, and in my opinion, this is when you should choose to stop being a dungeon master. My being a dungeon master was an obstacle to someone else being a dungeon master. So I'm fortunate to have more than one gaming group. I have 2 gaming events per week. Some weeks it'll go down to 1, but that's all the gaming events my life will really, and that doesn't count board games with my family. With my friends, I have a max of 2 4-hour gaming sessions a week, and I would say at least half the weeks, maybe 3 weeks, there's only 1 gaming session per week, and that is part of, that's the limit that I've set for myself. Because based on my responsibilities and everything I need to do, that's all that will really fit in my life, right? Well, because of this, basically, I would normally be running as the dungeon master for a D&D game. And recently, there's been a situation where one of the players who's played in many of my campaigns has decided to dungeon master themselves. They had kind of dipped their toe in it before, with a small short-run campaign, and now this person has, been very excited, has a campaign idea, and we're going into session 4 of this new campaign that this dungeon master is running, right? And because of this, I decided, the game was kind of squeezed in, and I was feeling pressure. I was like, and for a long time, people would invite me to games, and I would say, I can't play in your game because I don't have the time to play in your game. And I felt bad because a lot of times, people had been played in your game and you want to reciprocate and play in their game, right? But, the demands of life mean you only have so much time for gaming, and we need to be respectful of our responsibilities. And so, I would have to turn down invitations. Well, I realized, I was running my own campaigns and I was dungeon mastering, and I realized, hey, if I continue to run my game, I'm going to have to tell this person, well, I'm only going to cameo in your game, in your campaign. And the reason, I'll just show up in one session and you can run along with the rest of your players. And, and I'm not going to be in your game because I don't have time, right? But this person has been a player in many of my games. And I also think this person has a tremendous amount of talent for dungeon mastering right now. I enjoy being in the game. And then I also think this person is, they're just dipping their toe into being a dungeon master, and they're getting their momentum and getting their speed up, and they're really kind of growing into their abilities as a dungeon master, right? And I thought, I really think it's more important that I am a player for a while, maybe months, maybe even a full year, and support this campaign as long as everybody's excited about it and it's running. It's more important that I'm a player here, and for the hobby gets this new dungeon master, right? And the reality, and the reason why is, if I'm running as a dungeon master, I might add 1 or 2 more players, but the reality is, I'm going to be, dungeon mastering for the majority, for people who have already played in my games quite a bit. The majority of my players are going to be taken by those slots of people I already know, and maybe 1 or 2 players will be new, right? But if this new dungeon master learns and actually masters the craft, right, they could run many campaigns over their life, and and they have a lot more decades in their life left than I do, right? And so I thought, just by math, it makes a lot more sense for me to play in this campaign, be a great player, make the game as fun as possible for all the other players, right? Be a player who understand, be a player who's been in the seat of the dungeon master. And I feel like a player who's a skilled dungeon master is an incredible asset at the table. And the reason why is, if they have the right mindset, if they're like, hey, I'm going to be in the group and I'm going to make sure that this dungeon master who's running the game right now, that their campaign lives, right? And so I definitely try to do that. I don't always succeed. Sometimes I'm not a super player. I'm a lot better at dungeon mastering than I am at being a player. That's a whole additional discussion. But right now, I feel it's important that I jump in and I support this other player being a dungeon master, because their being a dungeon master is more important than me being a dungeon master, based on the amount of decades left that they have to be a dungeon master. And also, basically, if you're a well-established dungeon master and you're iterating, like you're running campaigns and everybody's having a good time, but there's someone who's just coming and getting their feet as a dungeon master, those new dungeon masters, it's more important that they grow a mastery of dungeon mastering, right, than that you put additional shine on your skills, right? I just really feel that's just good math. That's goodwill toward the game and toward the hobby and toward the community and toward all players and all dungeon masters. We should really prioritize dungeon masters who are just learning the craft, right? And then dungeon masters who are very skilled and are adding additional levels of expertise to their existing skill set. I think that's just really important, right? So if you're out there and you're in this situation where you realize that your running as a dungeon master is squelching opportunity for people at your table who have a desire to dungeon master and the ability to dungeon master, I think it's time to stop dungeon mastering, at least for a period, so that you can put your time and effort and excitement behind that growing dungeon master. And I think that's really key. Take care.